'cause now it's all on me. Everything that goes, keep it to the breeze. Let the ashes fall. Forget about me. Amazing grace. And oh, me.
Magandang umaga po. Good morning, Friday morning. It's 10:49 here in Toronto and 8:49 in Edmonton. Makakasama po natin ang isa sa pinakakilala at saka isa sa mga ginagalang na na elder and community leader from Edmonton. Don't go away. Makakapanayam natin today is ang ating tito ng Edmonton, Tito uh, Hermo Pagtakhan. Wag po kayong umalis at tayo magbabalik. Kasandaling mga paalala lamang.
You're the original Ordinary Joe, but I'm an Ordinary Joe too.
My name is John Tory. I'm the Mayor of Toronto, and you are watching The Ordinary Joe Show. And this is Ordinary Joe right here. He's right here.
Ako po ang iyong tagapag-ulat, Joey Salvador, at ito ang Filipino Canadian Daily on OJTV.
Ayun, good morning. Friday morning po. Last day of the week bukas ay araw ng pagpahinga. Ang ating makakapanayam today, siya ang pinsan ng kauna-unahang naging MP sa buong kasaysayan ng Canada. Si Dr. Rey Pagtakhan ay ang nag-iisa at kauna-unahang naging MP, miyembro ng parlamento from the lungsod ng Winnipeg. At ang kanyang pinsan na si Hermo Pagtakhan ay isa sa kanyang mga naging campaign manager. And what we can say about that situation is also the whole Pagtakhan clan or the Pagtakhan last name is really iconic and a part of Canadian history. Kasi kaparte na po ng kasaysayan ng ating Filipino-Canadian history ang mga Pagtakhan. At isa sa mga Pagtakhan ay makakasama natin ngayon ay si Tito Hermo. Siya rin mismo ay meron siyang makasaysayang nangyari sa kanyang buhay dahil may isang lehislasyon sa probinsya ng Alberta na napapangalan sa kanya, based sa kanya, the Hermo Pagtakhan Bill. At without further ado, pakilala na po natin. Welcome natin si Tito Hermo. Hello, Tito Hermo. Kamusta po?
Hello, Ordinary Joe. Magandang umaga po sa ating mga masugid na tagapanood dito sa Canada at magandang gabi po sa Pilipinas. Maraming salamat. First of all, thank you very much, Ordinary Joey, for the kind introduction. Kaya nga lang, I just want to clarify. You mentioned I'm one of the elders here in Edmonton. I beg to disagree with that because elder is a subjective term, and age is just, in the mind. And if you don't mind, it doesn't matter, right? Sabi nga nila. Then second also, I want clarify and correct, hindi ako naging campaign manager ni Dr.
Oh,
Ray because I have not resided in Winnipeg. Ang nangyari is dahil I'm in Edmonton, parang naging de facto. Ibig sabihin ng de facto, I was not legally appointed but I was actually acting as his special assistant in Edmonton.
in
I mean,
Edmonton.
to serve the Filipino Canadian community in Alberta. Para kasi siyempre may mga problema mga kababayan natin na ipaparating natin kay Dr. Ray noon nung nanunungkulan siya at masugid kong malugod kong ibinabalita na marami siya natulungan talaga. Marami siya natulungan sa Edmonton. Iba mga major cases. Kaya nga lang hindi niya ang ano kasi Kuya Ray, humble siya eh. Hindi ba siya yung trapo? Sinasabi natin trapo na ibabanda o ipopromote o i-advertise. Timing lang siya, he does his duties quietly in the background but effectively.
He
Okay?
doesn't toot his own horn, kumbaga kung tawagin po.
Yes.
He doesn't.
And I'm glad to be one of the ordinary Joes now in Edmonton.
Oh, awesome. You're inducted an official ordinary Joe. Tayo po mga ordinary Joe mas minsan mas maganda kasi we don't get the attention tayo mga ordinary Joe. We're able to effectively operate the work of God pagka hindi natin ina-attract yung attention sa ating sarili. Pasensya na po na huli tayo ng pagsisimula.
No, that's okay. That's okay. Things happen for a reason, ordinary Joe. Katulad ng sinabi ko sa'yo, in our show today, hindi lang basta discussion of events and facts. I want also to impart, kasi ngayon parang servant leader na ako, so I want to also share lessons I've learned in life as we go along to discuss the events that had happened in my life. So your listeners or viewers will go away, bring with them something they can use in their ordinary life and something that they would benefit from.
Something valuable. Maraming salamat po sa dalawang meron tayong echo. Ano ba yun? Okay. Maraming salamat po sa dalawang correction and I stand corrected. Mali nga po, hindi kayo elder. Only in maturity and wisdom you're elder. Pero sa itsura at pangangatawan, nakalimutan ko, I downloaded a photo of you in a martial art stance. Kita ko sana yun sa ating dinownload ko yun somewhere on my download folder. Hindi ko lang nailabas right now because gumising po ako ng may severe headache this morning. Tito Hermo, actually ginising ako ni Mrs. ng mga alas 4 ng umaga, umuungol daw ako, sabi niya, in my sleep. Minsan kasi, I think, kung narinig nyo na po yung sleep paralysis, nung ako'y maliit pa, madalas akong pero matagal nang hindi ko na-experience. Siguro, pagka masyadong kulang sa tulog at saka sobrang pagod, paminsan-minsan umaatake.
Hindi lang sobrang pagod o kulang sa tulog, ordinary Joe. If I may add, kasi maraming nasa isip mo You have a lot of things in your mind. So, subconsciously, doon nagma-manifest yun when we're sleeping Di ba? Plus, we're all born to have mission in life, subconsciously again, pumapasok habang natutulog tayo yung the missions we have to fulfill in life na hindi pa natin nagagawa, di ba? So, I mean, I just want to add those comments to your statement.
Oo nga po. Kaya minsan, yung ganung parang struggles in our sleep, when we wake up, there's a physical effect, but then, when you recover from it, it gives you a breath of fresh air. But anyways, today's episode is not about...
Teka muna, Ordinary Joe, I want to add something, because I've viewed this somewhere or learned this somewhere. Pag hindi ka pala makatulog, ibig sabihin na marami kang iniisip talaga. A lot of things that preoccupy your mind. So how do you go about getting rid of those? Ang isang suggestion that I have learned is, bago ka matulog, ilista mo lahat ng mga anxiety mo, yung gagawin mo, parang nire-release mo It's one way by which you're releasing it from your system. So pag natulog ka, clear yung walang clutter dahil naisulat mo na Di ba? Parang reorganize mo yung brain mo. So pag natulog ka, clear na, makakatulog ka na. I hope that helps
That's a very good. I like that, Tito. I love that idea kasi minsan nililinger nyo sa isip nyo kasi bukas kailangan gawin ko 'to, baka makalimutan ko, paalala ko sarili ko. Isulat mo para tapos okay, 'yan. Bukas babasahin ko 'yan.
Yes.
Parang
And the
gano'n.
other thing too, before I forget, the other thing too, sabi nila, pag hindi ka makatulog, it's the time na God wants to talk to you.
Oo, tama po 'yan.
Lalo na yung tinatawag na holy hour, di ba? Yung madaling araw, walang
Mm.
distraction, tahimik. So, isipin mo, ano bang gustong iparating sa akin ni Lord, di ba?
Tama
Ganun
po.
minsan you have to do that exercise too.
Mhm.
Kasi when you discover it, then magkakaroon ka na ng peace of mind, makakatulog ka na rin. So, that's another way.
Oh, alam niyo po, noong ako high school, when I used to be active youth leader sa simbahan, very faithful ako diyan sa paggising ng 4:30 or 5 o'clock ng umaga to have my quiet time and devotion. I guess the older you get, parang tinatamad na yung katawan, hindi na makagising
Yeah,
ng maaga.
yeah,
But
yeah.
I remember those years, it was yielding a lot of anointing and a lot of blessing. That
Yeah,
is a very good idea, Tito.
yeah.
Anyways, I would like to. I gave you my own introduction of what I remember that I read from your bio and from our kwentuhan in the past. But of course, I can. I will make mistakes like how I did in my introduction because kayo ang nakakaalam mostly about yourself. Kayo ang mas mabuting nakakaalam about yourself than somebody who's a third party like me. So today, what I really want to offer our viewers is to get to know all the leaders, the influencers all across Canada and all our masasabi nating elders in terms of like wisdom and people we can learn from. And kaya ko kayo gustong ipakilala sa ating mga listeners and followers here on the Ordinary Joe Show or what we call OJTV for short. Tito Hermo, kwento niyo po sa akin kasi alam ko that there's something about the early years when you come to Canada. Edmonton na po kayo kaagad as soon as you arrive in Canada?
Yes, Edmonton. Edmonton.
Opo. Tapos merong isang Alberta legislation was named after you. Ikwento po sa amin yung early days, early years niyo. What are the motivation? Bakit kayo nagpunta Canada? Did you come with your family? Dito po ba kayo nag-asawa or dinala niyo na yung pamilya niyo dito and your kids? We want to know everything about you. Let's get started. I'll give the floor to you. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to our show and welcome to the keynote of Tito Hermo Pagtakhan. There you
Thank
go.
you very much, Ordinary Joe. But before I bare my soul, I just want to make some statement about what you mentioned about mistakes. Don't feel bad, don't feel sorry when you make a mistake because
Mhm.
that's how you learn, how you improve. Sabi nga nila, people who do not make mistakes never progress, di ba? And
Exactly.
if you study at the lives of great men and successful people, all of them made mistakes. Because
Yes.
without those mistakes, they will not be the better persons that they became.
Mhm.
So don't feel bad. I mean, everybody makes mistakes. What's one quality of humanity. I mean, humanism, di ba? Yung human element natin.
Mhm.
So don't feel bad. It's
Thank
okay to make mistakes, sabi yan.
thank you
Okay,
po.
now to answer your question, I was uh, I was already a lawyer in the Philippines, and I was having a good practice. I was with a major corporate and tax law firm, and my fiance then we agreed that she would go home December 1983, uh, and then we'll get married in the Philippines. However, before she was able to go home, an important event in the history of the Philippines happened, and that was in August 21 when former Senator Aquino got assassinated. So umuwi pa rin siya, nagpakasal kami, and then because of the assassination, nagkaroon ng mga rallies, demonstrations sa Makati, yun ang site ng mga rallies lagi. And I experienced one time na tear gas kasi may nagrarally, ay yung fume ng tear gas reached the parking lot ng office namin,
Oh, wow.
And then by March or April, we learned that my wife then was pregnant, and that was when I thought to myself, wow, I will be having a child. I didn't want my child to grow in a unstable environment kasi uncertain times noon eh. So what we did is sabi ko, balik ka na ng Canada, doon ka na manganak, and then we know it will be around sometime in September or October. Sabi ko, before manganak ka, I will go over to Canada and visit the country and survey kung paano ako makapag-practice dito. And that's what happened, So I surveyed around, talked to a few law firms, lawyers. So alam ko na yung procedure. And then after nung nanganak siya, bumalik ako sa Philippines and I wound up my practice there. Sabi nga nung managing partner namin sa law office, are you crazy, Hermo? You're having a good practitioner already. You have big multinational corporate clients already in your account. You trading that for an uncertain future in Canada? Sabi ko, yeah, because for family reasons. Kasi sabi nga nila, don't sacrifice your family because of business. May nagsabi, successful person na nagsabing ano. So that's what I did. Ginive up ko yung practice, move ako sa Canada. When I came to Canada, I was faced with a dilemma. Sabi ko, magtatrabaho ba kagad ako or I will get my accreditation? Kasi siyempre starting family, kailangan mabuhay din kami, di ba? So that's what I did. Nakakita naman ako ng law firm na pwede kong pasukan as as an assistant lawyer. So I was able to do both. So in a matter of 1 year and a half or 2 years, natapos ko. I was required to write 5 qualifying exams sa constitutional law, administrative law, trust, and real and personal property. Kasi iba ang legal system ng Canada in so far as those subjects are concerned, different from the Philippines. So natapos ko yung mga yon, and then after that, I wrote the bar exam and I was blessed na nakapasa po naman tayo. However, although natapos ko na yung tatlong requirements, qualifying exams, bar exams, saka articling, yung articling parang apprenticeship yon. We are required to article for 1 year. Natapos ko na lahat yon. Kaya nga lang, ang problema kasi ordinary Joe, hindi ako pwede mag-oath taking. Why? Kasi hindi pa ako Canadian citizen. Yeah, hindi pa ako Canadian citizen. Now, again, kasi every now and then I face those serious dilemmas, Pero looking back at my personal history, I'm glad and I'm blessed na every time I face an obstacle, I'm able to overcome those. So yun ang gusto kong iparating na naman sa ating mga manood na there is no such thing as impossible ways. You just have to be creative. Maybe pray to the Holy Spirit for enlightenment and the Holy Spirit will guide us, So, tsaka tayo mga Pilipino, fighter tayo, di ba? We never quit as much as possible. Yun ang isang positive trait natin, fighter tayo. So, sabi ko, hindi ko papayagan na maghintay, masasayang yung 1 year ko na wala akong ginagawa. Dapat lawyer na, di ba? So, nag-research ako. Ang problema, hindi ako citizen. So, sabi ko, siguro kung magkakaroon ng law na exempting me from the requirement of citizenship, siguro matatanggap yun ng Law Society of Alberta, no? So, inumpisahan natin ang process. Doon ko masasabi na the Holy Spirit and God place people and, circumstances along your path to enable you to successfully overcome any obstacle. Kasi nagkataon naman na yung kasama ko sa law firm, may kakilala siyang MLA o Member of Legislative Assembly of Alberta who was willing to sponsor that private bill. So yun ang gist ng bill that Hermo Pagtakhan will be exempted from the citizenship requirement and will be allowed to practice notwithstanding the pa ako citizen. But it was no easy job. I mean, I had to go through like the proverbial eye of the needle. Kasi after filing the bill, kailangan i-drop yun, And then, nagkaroon ng parang congressional hearing. So, I have to appear before a congressional committee. They grilled me. Talagang piniga ako. Bakit bibigyan ka namin? Bakit ka special na bibigyan ka namin ng ganitong bill? Ang main contention ko, I have the right to pursue livelihood. Natapos ko na yung lahat ng requirements eh. What do you want me else to do, ano? Wala na akong magagawa na ano. Plus, I mean, right of livelihood, sabi ko nga, it's guaranteed under the Constitution too. So, in effect, depriving me of my right to pursue my livelihood. Eh, kinagat naman nila, they accepted it. So, dinala nila yung bill, ano? But then again, every step of the way, sabi ko may obstacle eh. Yung bill ko, hindi pa natatawag, last day na ng session ng Legislative Assembly of Alberta. Ang rule kasi, Ordinary Joe, pag hindi nakapasa, hindi natawag at hindi nakapasa sa 3 readings, then there are 3 readings before a bill can be passed eh. Then, mag-adjourn ang session ng legislature, magko-collapse everything. Which means, umpisa na naman ako sa umpisa, Ordinary Joe. So doon talaga, I was the only one sa gallery. Ano no, I can still recall December 17, winter, nandun ako sa gallery sa itaas. Ako lang mag-isa nanonood no, nagse-session ng legislature. Dasal ako ng sa Lord, sana po matawag. Hindi pa natawag, Ordinary Joe, would you believe? Siguro mga last 10 minutes, doon tinawag yung first reading. The first reading, lahat ng mga bill. Well, Lord, wag sana, kapusin lang tayo. Wag sana. And blessing naman, tinawag ko yung second reading. No? And then, siguro mga 2 minutes na lang, Ordinary Joe. Sabi ko, Lord, you brought me here already. Sana naman, ituloy-tuloy mo na, no? Would you believe, last 1 minute, Ordinary Joe? And talaga natuwa ako. Kasi nag-iisa lang ako, napalundag ako sa gallery. Tinawag, third reading, Hermo Pagtakhan, Bar Admission Act. Passed. So, nakalusot. So, pinas nila, and then it was signed by the Lieutenant Governor for formal assent. And so that bill became the Hermo Pagtakhan Bar Admission Act series of 1987. Nasa Statutes of Alberta sa law books ng Alberta series of 1987. So yun ang kwento about that bill, Ordinary Joe.
Wow, that's a beautiful story, Tito. And there's 2 things that I'd like to note about that, right of livelihood. Yan sa ating mga long lockdowns kami dito sa Ontario, I think that is a Charter of Rights and Freedom na very much na inaatake ngayon ng mga overreach ng pamahalaan sa amin dito, yung right of livelihood na nabura yan eh. Pero ang ganda po dun sa istorya nyo, no? Parang sa akin, number 1 lesson is if the law is impractical and impossible to follow, to obey, maybe it's time to change the law.
Yeah.
So, and yung kwento nyo naman na for 3 readings in 1 day, it went through bago mag-recess ang legislatura ng Alberta. Ang nag-impress sa akin yung scripture na he who began a good work in you, he will be faithful na matapos yun eh. Di ba po? He started the good work and then he will not leave you hanging in the middle. So that's a beautiful story, Tito Hermo.
Yeah.
So, nung nakuha nyo, siguro tuwang-tuwa kayo on the same time. Anong celebration ang ginawa nyo? Anong klase pong pagse-celebrate ang ginawa nyo?
Siyempre tuwan-tuwa tayo nung oath-taking, nagkaroon tayo ng konting salo-salo. Inimbitahan natin mga kaibigan natin, yung family, close friends yun. Yeah. We deserve to celebrate it kasi mahirap ma-accomplish yun ordinarily. Di ba? Very extraordinary accomplishment yun.
So, nandito na po si Mrs. nyo noong time na yon or babalikan nyo pa lang siya noon? Babalikan nyo pa lang siya sa Philippines?
No, nandito na siya. Nandito na siya. Yeah.
Okay, I see. Kasi yung pagkaalala ko sa kwento nyo, nung nauna kayo to scout the country, tapos bumalik po kayo kaagad in the same year or in a few weeks? Ganun po ba yung...
1 month lang ako dito sa Canada. Actually, nandito na siya. Siya yung nag-sponsor sa akin eh. So ako bumalik to wind up my law practice. Sabi ko nga, sabi ng managing partner namin o senior partner, are you crazy, Hermo? you're giving up your good practice here. Yeah. It's
Oo.
okay.
Mission Impossible po yun, ah. Yung ringtone nyo, ang ganda ng ringtone nyo, Tito.
Yeah.
So, ano naman po yung mga early life nyo sa Edmonton? So, that's in the mid-80s po yan, no?
Yeah, mid-80s, as a new immigrant then, I was also faced with what newly landed immigrants face. Ano, yung nung first winter ko, medyo naluluha-luha tayo dahil nag-scrap tayo na nag-scrape ng snow. Sabi ko, sa Philippines, boss tayo. Tapos dito, we have to do everything. No, but that's okay. It's a humbling experience. It only goes to show na you cannot predict life, ano, and you have to, sabi nga, you're dealt with cards, ano. You may not have been dealt with the best of cards, but it's how you play your cards that matter. Yeah. And then, siyempre, nakikita rin natin yung mga problema ng mga kababayan. Without, I don't want to brag, pero may mga natulungan tayong mga kababayan with their problems, ano. Naging community advisor tayo ng mga community associations dito, legal counsel ng mga associations, and I would also say that I'm instrumental in forming in the formation of one of the alliances of associations here. Kasi alam mo na tayo mga Pilipino, I don't want to sugarcoat it. Kanya-kanya ang problema kasi natin, gusto lahat maging leader, ordinary Joe eh. So mahirap makipag-compromise with other associations. Nagkataon, I'm not affiliated with an association, so the other leaders approach me. Sabi nila, attorney, pwedeng ikaw moderate, mag-akas moderator para you're the one acceptable to all the groups. Sabi nila. So that's why that the Council of Edmonton Filipino Associations was born here in Edmonton. Ano. And then also, may mga cases din tayo ng mga kababayan na hinandle natin, tinulungan natin. Yeah. Then I was also involved in politics here. Ewan ko kasi sabi nga nila, yung politics is in the Pagtakhan blood, ano, kasi yung mga ancestors namin, politicians, ano, leaders sa Philippines. Yung isang lolo namin, naging mayor sa Bacoor, where I was raised. Actually, there was a time na yun yatang yung panganay mas matanda naging mayor, yung younger brother naging vice mayor, pero magkalabang party. And then yung father ni Dr. Rey was also involved in politics in Bacoor. Siya yung Secretary General ng Liberal Party sa Cavite, yung father ni Kuya Rey. Then my own dad also naging councilor sa Bacoor. In fact, it's also historical. He is the only liberal who won in that year's election. Lahat ng mga nanalo nationalista, he was the only liberal and he was the youngest.
Tito, ano lang po, a little technical housekeeping. Pagka masyado po kayo malapit, minsan nawawala po kayo sa frame. Pagka
sorry, yeah.
Pagka
layo tayo po
para makita po namin kayo kasi parang pagka napayuko kayo, wala na kayo, hindi namin kayo.
I apologize.
Kayo ng frame.
I apologize.
Yeah, perfect.
Thank you for bringing that to my attention.
Apo. Tito Hermo, lahat po kayo Kabitenyo. Lahat
Yes,
ng Pagtakhan.
Pagtakhan, yung sa father ko, Kabitenyo. My mother side, mga Toribio sa Bohol. Yung
Bohol.
lolo namin is actually one of the first Filipino Olympic medalists representing the Philippines.
Kwento nga po yan. Kwento nyo nga po yan. Interesting yan.
Yeah, my grandfather on the mother's side, Simeon Toribio, pangalan, you can Google the name, Simeon Toribio. He was one of the Filipino Olympic medalists kasi 1928, there was a Filipino already. I don't know what medal he won, but after that, 1932, doon na naging champion, not actually champion, but third place ang lolo ko, kaya he capped the bronze medal. Pero there's an anecdote to his story, no? Tatlo sila na finalist sa high jump category.
High jump.
Isang Canadian, isang American, tsaka si Lolo Simeon Toribio. Okay?
Mhm.
Every time na qualifying, pasado sila lahat. Pasado sila lahat. Pero ang kwento, and it's in the records and in the media, na on the third attempt yata o fourth attempt, jingle na si Lolo, bawal sila mag-break eh. Bawal mag-break.
Bawal, walang break time. Walang washroom dun eh.
Jingle na, so ang nangyari, naging third place siya.
Oh.
Pag ginugol mo yan, that story is in the online.
Ano po yung first name ni Lolo Toribio?
Simeon
Simeon.
Toribio.
Anong
Yeah.
anong Olympics po 'yon? Saan ginanap?
I have to, I don't want to make a mistake, pero may Google yun eh. May Google.
Okay. Google po natin.
Yeah.
That's
And then
interesting.
later on, naging congressman siya ng Bohol. So, both sides, meron tayong political history.
Alam niyo po pagka ako nanonood ng boxing, siyempre lahat tayo no, na willing-willy pagka may laban si Pacquiao.
Yes.
Minsan naiisip ko yan, paano kaya kung in the middle of the fight, kailangan mo mag-washroom? Paano yun? Eh di siguro talagang mababawasan yung huwag kang uminom ng tubig siguro, no? Before the fight. Pero syempre,
madidistract ka sa focus eh. Alam mo naman sa athletes, focus is the most important one.
That's right. Focus is very crucial in athleticism. Pero di ba po every round is about 3 minutes ba? Katagal lang isang round?
Sa boxing, yeah, I think
3 minutes ata ang one round.
2 or 3. Yeah, 2 or 3.
Yeah. Tapos po pagka di ba umupo, tubig kagad yun, iinom
kagad.
kagad.
Tubig kagad kasi dehydrated sila eh.
Dehydrated.
Well, di ba? Yeah.
So kaya ako naisip ko minsan, ang daming iniinom ng mga boksingero, no? Paano kaya yun? Kung kailangan mo na mag-washroom, 12 rounds yan. Di magpapatalo ka na lang kasi iinom ka na.
Doon na lang siya jingle, parang kunyari pawis o ano.
Siguro nakadaya
kasi babaha yung ring.
Siguro nakadiaper din yung mga yan. Pasensya na po, namatay yung aking ilaw ha. Medyo hindi ko alam tong lifespan ng aking battery. Minsan fully charged yan kanina pero namatay na. Anyways, hindi nyo ko makikita masyado, madilim. But ano naman po ang early life as a family man sa Edmonton? Diyan na po pinanganak. Ilan po ang kids nyo at diyan na po ba sila lahat pinanganak?
Actually, Ordinary Joe, first marriage ko yun, ano? Sa first marriage ko, I had 3 kids. Now, kasi ito, dilemma ng newly landed immigrant, di ba? Kailangan magtrabaho tayo. Lalo sa akin, ang schedule ko noon, kasi kinukuha ko rin yung accreditation, di ba? So, my schedule is 9 o'clock, punta na ako sa office and work until 5 o'clock. Now, after that, magbe-break na ako mga 30 minutes for dinner and then magre-review na ako sa office mismo.
Magre-review for your...
Yun, hanggang midnight na yun o 1 o'clock. Uwi ako, magbabasa ko. And then, kinabukasan, gising na naman ng 6 o'clock. Yun ang everyday routine natin. Kaya nga lang, yung sabi nga nila, for everything you do, there's a price you have to pay, ano? Yeah, nakuha ko yung lawyer accreditation ko, pero nag-suffer din yung yung time ko sa family, lalo na sa mga anak ko. So, yung first 2 kids ko, lalo na yung panganay, and very good naman na understanding sila ngayon, lumaki na sila. So, I wasn't able to devote much time and attention. Kaya itong mga later children ko, talagang as much as possible, I spent time. And then, may mga life-changing events na nangyari sa akin that enabled me to really spend time, lalo na sa bunso namin.
Wow.
Sa second marriage ko. Yeah.
So in total, 4 po ang mga anak niyo?
Yeah, 4. And then, may 2 anak ang misis ko sa yung second marriage. So, parang Brady Bunch, naging 6 kids kami, ano?
6 kids.
Yeah, but then again, I have an interesting story regarding that, if you will allow me, you know?
Of course, Tito. This is the time for you to tell all your stories.
No, kasi the challenge of having a mixed family is how do you gel? Paano ibibring mo closer yung mga bata, di ba?
Yes.
Kasi problema yun kung hindi sila nagkakasundo, no?
Mhm.
Problema 'yon, sakit ng ulo 'yon later on.
Tama po.
Mabuti naman, very understanding, tsaka nagko-communicate kami. We have an effective communication with my wife now. Napag-usapan namin, paano ba natin, ano bang strategy gagawin natin para maiwasan yung problema na 'yon. You know what? We thought about having a family night. Ano yung family night? We thought na every Tuesday night, we will hold a family night dinner. And each week, magkakaroon ng turn ang bawat kids to choose anong restaurant. Ano?
Wow.
Yeah, magastos yun, pero eventually, when I look back,
It's worth it.
it was a very brilliant strategy, and maybe other families facing the same situation of being a mixed family can learn from this. Hopefully, So what we did is, yung every Tuesday night, family night dinner. Alam mo nung first few dinners,
Aha.
yung mga anak namin medyo batian lang ganyan, talikuran, no. Then after that, medyo nagbabatian na. Then
Aha.
after a month or so, nagkukuwentuhan na.
Hanggang naging
Nagkukuwentuhan
best
na.
friends na.
Alam mo, hanggang sa maging very close sila, and I'm very proud. Yun ang pride and joy of a parent na nakita
Yes.
ko sila na lumalaki very close. And
Yes.
you can ask them themselves, they don't, in their minds, they don't feel na hindi sila talagang tunay na magkakapatid. Right
Mm.
now, they love for each other, is parang tunay na, higit pa sa tunay na magkakapatid, and they care for each other.
Well,
So,
they're half siblings, di ba po?
as I've said, very expensive kasi merong anak na, buti kung yung anak na in charge na mag-choose ng particular week family night dinner, buti kung McDonald's lang o Kentucky. Merong iba, Laron, alam mo yung Laron, yung revolving restaurant dito, fine dining. Sabi ko, patay. Pero okay na yun. Ano naman natin, na ibubuno, ika nga sabi na.
Mhm.
As I've said, looking back at my life, it was well worth it.
Well worth
Naiwasan natin ang sakit na. Kasi otherwise, kung di na-solve yun, maaaring magkahiwalay din kami ng misis ko ngayon, di ba?
Oh,
Kung
yung pangalawa.
hindi na-solve yun. Kasi siyempre, I understand, anak niya yun. And anak ko rin itong, pero thank God, I mean, binigay sa amin ng Holy Spirit yung idea na yun, and it was very effective. Very
Oh,
effective.
magkakalayo po ba sila ng edad?
Yung sa kay Mrs. na, kay Baida is 1981 and 1983 pinanganak. Ano ba kung 39 and 37, di ba? Yung sa akin naman, ang panganay ko, pinanganak 1984. So, 36. And then followed by 1989. So, 31 ba yun? And then yung youngest ko sa first marriage is 1992. 1992. So, 28. And then kami, out of our marriage, nagkaroon kami we were blessed by the Lord ng isang anak, a daughter, who is 17 years old now.
Pero nung kayo po nagsimula kayo ng mga dinner, maliliit pa sila noon nung mga...
Yeah, maliit sila noon. That was around 1994, 95. So, yeah, maliit pa sila noon. Yeah.
Oh, that's a wonderful story, Tito Hermo. Ako rin po is part of a blended family. Me and my younger brother is part of my dad's second wife. Yung first wife niya kasi nag-pass away.
Yes.
Because of childbirth, yung bunso nung mga kapatid ko sa una, 5 sila. But eventually we became like, yun, parang just one full family na walang distinction yung sino yung nauna, tsaka sino yung first wife, sino yung second wife. But then nung nagkasakit na ang dad, just recently nung namatay siya noong 2004, doon naman bumalik yung old issues nung wala na si dad. Pero when he was around for many years, we were just one big family. But that's a wonderful story. I can connect to that story, Tito.
Ako mismo, blended family din kasi I was orphan. My mother passed away when I was only 24 days old. And I was told a story na at that time, my mother will be having a difficult childbirth. And I think the doctor talked to her and my dad sabi, you have to choose your life or your baby. That's me. And my mother, chose.
Chose you.
Yeah, yeah.
Wow.
So I'm very
Ganun po
thankful about that. And
ganun din po yung nangyari doon sa aking ah, nakakatandang kuya. Pero siya yung bunso nung kanyang yung first wife ng dad ko. Parang ang hirap pong gawan desisyonan ah, yung ganong klaseng, it's a very difficult decision to make. Pero makikita natin when the
you love, you love.
mother love,
Yeah.
the mother's love kicks in,
Yes.
talagang yun ang nasusunod, yung pagmamahal ng isang ina. Kaya parang yung mga pinaglalaban ng mga kabataan, ng mga nasa kaliwa ng political spectrum, they're fighting for the right of the woman or the right to choose and to abort the baby. Hindi natural sa paningin ko, hindi yan na isang natural na emosyon ng isang babae, ng isang ina.
And so if I may continue, my dad remarried, and same thing happened. Ngayon, I mean, we grew up together. I mean, feeling and treating each other as more than real brothers and sisters. And everybody calls me Kuya Boy. Alam mo sa atin, basta panganay, boy.
Boy.
So, again, blessing kay Lord yan. People just don't realize every day we're blessed. Every day, actually, miracles happen. We just don't notice it because of our limited human understanding. Di ba?
That's true. Opo.
But if you look closely, everything miracle talaga every day sa atin. Hindi lang natin nanonotice.
Tito Hermo, kayo ngayon isa ring kolumnista diyan sa Edmonton Filipino Journal.
Yes.
At saka kayo rin po ba napapansin ko kayo madalas kayo nagko-quote ng scriptures. Kayo ba active rin sa simbahan?
Actually, nung bata pa ako, talagang lumaki ako dahil I think 10 years old pa lang ako, I joined the Legion of Mary. So, Legionnaire ako hanggang sa lumaki, hanggang sa umalis ako sa Philippines. And maybe that background helped me overcome and look at things spiritually, no? Now, I'm not saying I'm perfect. I'm also a struggling sinner every day. Struggling every day to find my way to holiness. I'm a persistent sinner. Katulad ng everybody. I don't claim to be holy, Pero we try our best. That's the important thing. We try our best. Yeah.
Sabi nga po, we are all sinners saved by grace.
Yes. And
Yeah.
then, as I've said, I was a lawyer in Edmonton. I practiced actually for 5 years in the Philippines and 20 years in Edmonton, But then again, I believe God has plans for us. And He gave me a life-changing event in 2005, But that is again another beautiful story that I can share on a separate time. Na mahaba rin yun eh. So 2005, I had a life-changing event. I had to metamorphose into another calling or vocation. That's when my career as an index options trader in Wall Street happened.
Okay.
And I traded in New York Stock Exchange for 7 years. Kasi again, that's another part of my life na that can become a story of our own. Kasi yung grupo namin naka-develop ng tinatawag na black box. Yung black box is like a forecasting system or machine.
Oh, okay.
Actually, we can forecast things or movements in the stock market before they happen. And yung 2008 financial collapse, mga siguro 1 month pa lang, we saw it already. But we kept quiet. But what I did, I emailed my family and my close friends. So may evidence ako na it happened eh. It's good na I emailed them. Sabi ko, get out of the market now. We foresee a huge financial collapse. And actually, we predicted Dow Jones to fall to around the level, kasi from 12,000 yata to a level of 6,000.
6,000, 7,000.
Yeah. Pero Dow Jones eventually fell, pero hindi 6,000, 6,500. But still, that's a very good prediction, So, and
Nag-short po ba kayo?
I'm sorry.
Nag-short ba kayo ng market when you found out that things will be falling? A lot of people, if they know that,
Hindi,
magsho-short sell sila.
yung short is a term for stock market trading. Kasi sa
Not
aming
not
options,
for options.
options, different eh. Sa stock markets, when you trade in stocks, you only make money when the stock value goes up, ano? And then when it goes down, you lose. Sa options trading, you can make money kahit bumaba ang value ng stock or tumaas. Either way, you can make money provided you get the direction right. Provided you get the direction right. So yun ang isang gusto kong lesson na iyan sa mga natin, very dangerous ang stock market.
Very
Let's
dangerous.
face it, it's like a huge casino. And
Yes.
the odds are always in favor of the house. Ano?
Yes, that's
You
right.
will only win. You will only win if you have a good forecast and reliable forecasting system.
Yes.
Kasi sinasabi sa atin ng fund manager o financial advisor, madali lang yan. Ang strategy, buy low and sell high. Ano? That's easy to say. But ang
Easy.
question ko, how do you know when it's high and how do you know when
You know
it's
when
low?
it's relative to what? Yun ang
Yeah, one example yan, yung it happened also during my time as a trader, ano? Nortel was trading at $100 something yata noon. Then it gradually declined, ano, to 80 or 70. Now, the question is, at that point, is it already low that you will buy?
It can keep going.
It went on hanggang naging ano lang yata, almost nothing, di ba? So kung bumili ka ng 70 dahil akala mo low na yun, yari ka pa rin. Di ba? So that's the danger of the stock market trading.
That's right. Ako rin po I have a little bit of experience sa day trading for a short time, for about a year and a half. Maiksi lang naman. Pero yeah, I saw when one day that Ford Motors was selling for $4 or $3 ata. Bumaksak talaga. And that would have been a good time for me to buy up. Kaya lang, sobrang dami ko ng tinrade before that opportunity. Wala na akong kapital nung time na yun.
Yeah. Yun ang mahirap. Yun ang mahirap.
Wala, yun na po mahirap. Anyways po, so you are, ever since you come to Canada, it's always been Edmonton. And dyan din po sa Edmonton, very high density ang Filipino population, no po. Ano po ba ang per capita ng ang nabalitaan ko sa Winnipeg, there is the highest per capita Filipino ratio to versus the general population. Diyan po sa Edmonton ano rin po ba ang ratio ng mga Filipino Canadians among in comparison to others?
When I came over in 1985, I think the Filipino Canadian population at the time was only 10,000.
10,000.
Yeah. But then the influx of lalo na yung mga OFW na naging immigrant and then migration from other cities or provinces of Canada, I think at present ang population ng Filipino population ng Edmonton will be around 80,000-90,000.
80-90.
Yeah,
But
actually
relative to other migrants po, mas malaki pa rin ang ratio ng Filipino migrants compared sa mga ibang immigrant groups.
oh yes. Ang medyo ano lang mga Chinese saka East Indians
Mas
tapos Pilipino lang ano. Pero actually the fastest growing language in Edmonton is I think second
Filipino.
na yata ang Filipino.
Oh, that's good. That's good.
Yeah.
And you witnessed that throughout your life, yung paglago ng Filipino population in Edmonton.
I was blessed to watch the city grow and along with it the Filipino Canadian population also growing.
And you always been a part of the Filipino community activities, and every summer may mga festivals din kayo dyan, no po?
Yes. Well, I can name a few. Actually, I don't claim sole credit, no, pero I organized the first event to welcome our OFWs. That was way back in 2007 to 2008, before any other welcome events were also held, and also I'm proud to say that. And then also, I am also the co-organizer of the first Philippine Week in Edmonton.
Philippine Week.
Kasi before, hindi naman nire-recognize ang Filipino Independence Day celebration, ano?
Mhm.
But during our time in 2005, we were blessed to, kasi ang maganda niyan, and let me backtrack a bit,
Mhm.
I encourage our kababayans to participate actively in politics. Ano? You know
Yeah.
why? Kasi when you participate in politics, the leaders, the politicians get to recognize our community. No?
Yes.
And I was blessed at that time, very blessed tayo nung time na yon na nandun si Kuya Ray,
Mhm.
tapos nag-participate ako sa campaign ni uh, David Kilgore. He was a very prominent MP here in Edmonton at that time. Ako yung legal counsel niya sa election campaign niya.
Mm.
Then after him, or at the same time, si Honorable Anne McClellan, who was member of parliament and became the deputy prime minister, and
Mm.
also was one time minister of justice, key campaign member din ako ng campaign team.
Mm.
Then in the legislative side, sa provincial, marami tayong mga MLAs saka mga naging premier na natulungan din. So we got recognition. And then in the city level,
Mhm.
yung mayor at that time, Mayor Steve, I can fondly recall, Stephen Mandel, he was a dark horse. Ano, he ran it as a candidate in the 2004, I believe, 2004 election
Uh-huh.
against incumbent, then Bill Smith and another prominent candidate, a councilor, Noche. Our candidate, Stephen Mandel, was in third place. In fact, a few weeks before the election, he was running behind. He was,
Oh.
yung ano niya is 7% daw, 17%
Mhm.
versus 25 for the incumbent and 23 for the front runner. But
Okay.
then, talagang binulong natin. And I'm glad na the Filipino community backed our candidate. So, during the election night, na ipanalo natin. And
Mm.
alam naman ng mga leaders yun and politicians na major contributor tayo sa victory nila. So, marunong namang tumingin ng siyempre, mga tao lang din yun eh.
Mhm.
Grateful sila. So, pagka meron tayong event na ipopropose, like yung inano ko, ipinropose ko na, why don't you declare the week of June 10 to June 18 as Philippine Week
Filipino.
in Edmonton.
Sa buong
And
Edmonton po 'yan.
sa Edmonton lang muna, sa Edmonton. So, we got this city declaration in the
Mhm.
park declaring it. And the following day, we held the first Philippine community-wide picnic in the park. We called it Community Picnic in the Park. And it was like a mini mini United Nations. Parang gano'n. Merong tent ang Ilocano, merong tent ang Pampanga.
Oh,
Parang
that's nice.
it's a huge park and attended by more than 5,000 people.
Wow.
And then what's
Wow.
unique is we had Parade of Lechon, and our main guest entertainer was Joey Albert.
Joey
So,
Albert. Mhm.
yes, very historical yon.
I think she is based in Vancouver, si
He's
Joey
based
Albert.
in Vancouver now, yeah.
Mhm. That's awesome. Talagang kayo did you ever attempt to run for office?
Uh, Actually, that's another story. When I was young, I mean, I'm just bearing my soul anyway. I dreamt of becoming the president of the Philippines.
Oh,
Siyempre,
wow.
lahat ng mga bata, ang
Uh-huh.
ambisyon natin na maglingkod sa
Maging
bayan, di ba?
mhm.
So because of that, talagang pinlano ko na yung buhay ko, pati education, towards that goal. So, I entered UP kasi ang UP ang spawning ground, training ground ng mga future national leaders sa Philippines. Let's face it,
Tama po 'yan.
yung mga past leaders natin, predominantly mga UP no?
Mhm, tama po.
And then I joined the UP ROTC cadet officers. I was a cadet officer. I joined it to learn para sa training about leadership and discipline and communication skills and also physical skills. Kasi pag leader ka, kailangan marunong ka rin ng konti sa combative skills, di ba? But I mean, live a balanced life, healthy body and healthy mind. And then after that, I purposely enrolled in the College of Law. No? Kasi siyempre, in my mind, kung gusto mong maging lawmaker, you have to have some knowledge, working knowledge of the law and
That's
skills in legislative parliamentary procedures. So, yun. But then again, dyan papasok yung sinasabi ko, the Lord has other plans, ano? And everything happens for a reason. So, I found myself migrating to Canada. So, nawala na yung dream na yun, ambition. But then, when the Lord gives you a certain situation, you have to be thankful, you have to be grateful. Kasi things happen for a reason nga. You cannot, sabi nga nila, if it's meant to happen in the Lord's time, you cannot stop it. And if it's not meant to happen yet, you cannot pursue it. You know, there'll be events that will prevent you from doing it. Now, sa Canada, naisip ko na lang yan, pero hindi, mas gusto ko yung quietly tumutulong na lang sa background. Kasi nga, binigyan ako ni Lord ng life-changing event. Sabi ko nga, thank you, Lord. Siguro hindi na ako lawyer ngayon. At least meron na akong chance to go to heaven. Kasi alam natin mga lawyers, di ba?
Yung mga lawyers.
Joke lang
yung,
yun.
mga, yung mga jokes
So,
for lawyers.
yeah, so, and then you have to think about it. I had my epiphany in 2005. That's when my metamorphosis started. My transformation from being a career person from the eyes of the world to gradually being a servant of the Lord, a servant leader. Again, as I've said, I do not I do not claim that I'm perfect. I'm still a persistent sinner, struggling every day to find my way to holiness. Pero I try my best. So, yun, di ba? Importante. Yeah.
Sabi nga po.
So, and I believe na we have been given by God talents. Di ba? Alam mo yung story about the talents, di ba? Yung
Yes.
isa pinultivate, yung isa pinabayaan. So, our talents is God give to us. And how we make use of those talents is our gift back to God. Di ba? And at my age na, lalo na, 64 na ako. Sabihin ko sana 54, pero hindi, 64. At our age, let's face it, I have a few more years to go. So, I might as well start depositing now. So that when I meet him face to face, may maire-report naman tayo. Kasi pag na-meet mo si Lord doon hindi ka naman tatanungin, oh, Hermo, are you a successful lawyer? Are you a doctor? Are you a billionaire? Are you a successful prime minister or president? No. What he will be asking us is, what did you do with the gifts I gave you? How did you make a difference in your fellow man's life? Di ba?
Yes.
What did you do to make a difference? Yun ang mga tatanong sa atin
Yun. Tama po.
Diba? Yes.
What a wonderful story. So, nagkaroon po kayo ng epiphany in 2005.
Yes.
You shifted your profession from being
Lawyer
lawyer to
to
trader,
index options trader.
index options. And did you continue doing that even now, or you retired from that?
Actually, again, as I've said before, the Lord gives us events, life-changing events from time to time. We were successful with our trading system. Actually, my senior partner, it's a group. We have a group, trading group. Had already assigned me to research how we can go public, how we can issue the IPO in New York. So we were having big dreams already. I go, at least if we make it big, I will use the income or the wealth I will generate here to help people, di ba? To do philanthropic things. Anyway, the Lord, again, has other plans. Hindi niya tinuloy yun. So, we got stopped from the index option trading because my senior partner who invented that black box, he passed away. And without the black box, I told you, it's dangerous. Kasi when you do the stock market trading without a good forecasting system, it's like you taking the driver's seat, starting the car, and then being blindfolded.
Driving in
Would
the
you,
dark.
would you dare drive the car while blindfolded?
Hindi po.
So that's the same analogy. But then I spent 7 years trading, and for me, looking back at my time there, it's not wasted na naman, Ordinary Joe.
Mhm.
Because I learned another lesson. Kung yung life-changing event ko as a lawyer taught me the value, the lesson of humility, kasi imagine from being somebody, sikat ka, lawyer, prominent, di ba? And then, bumagsak ka, you become a nobody. So that's a lesson in humility itself. Now, with the stock market trading, the greatest lesson I learned there is how to divest myself, get rid of the emotion of greed.
Mhm.
Kasi sa stock market trading, you've done it yourself. There are two emotions that drive the stock market.
Fear and greed.
Greed, okay? When you buy, greed is your motivation. Profit, di ba? And then, when you sell, you're motivated by fear. So,
Fear.
fear and greed. Why fear? Kasi nakikita mo, mabagsak yung ano mo, benta mo na. So, you're acting on fear, di ba?
Mhm.
So, I learned it the hard way kasi we have a good forecasting system nga. There was one trade na nagte-trade ako. I think I bought the index at $10 per share, ano?
Mhm.
So I got into the trading the market $10 kasi may signal eh. You only act on signal, makikita mo. Meron kami charts. Pag nakita namin, ang trend pataas, pasok na kami. Bili kami ng index option, no? Nakita ko pataas, so pasok kami. Later on, totoo nga, tumataas na yung value ng index. So from 10, naging 11, 12, 13, hanggang sa naging 20. Now, pagdating ng 20, nakita namin, nag-change na yung signal. So instead na pataas, nag-curve na pababa. Now, that is a signal to get out already.
Get out.
Now, what did I do? Greed. Sabi ko, I can squeeze some more profits. I can squeeze. So from 2020, naging 21 pa, sabi ko, tama ako, 22. Pagdating ng 23, biglang bagsak. Big bagsak, Ordinary Joe. Now, at that moment, and you've experienced it as a trader, when you click your mouse to sell, hindi agad
Automatically
na-actuhan eh.
buy.
Yeah, kasi busy mga ano, di ba? System
Busy.
overloaded. So instead of me making 10,000, I lost 5,000 kasi bumagsak ng $5
Yes.
yung value ng index
Share.
option na binili ko.
Uh-huh.
So I learned it the hard way. So that's one lesson. Greed. Kaya ngayon, honestly, I can say it, and I thank the Lord.
Mhm.
Nawala na yung greed sa system ko.
Yes.
Nawala na yung greed. So,
Yeah. Uh-huh.
combined with the characteristic of humility, nawala na yung greed. Saka isang na-learn ko and people can apply it also in their life. No? Sa trading, a bird in hand is
Better than
worth
two
more than
in
10 in
bush.
the bushes. In the bush. Ika nga, kung meron ka lang
Go mo na.
gain, i-ano mo na yun. Huwag mo
Yes.
na hintayin yung, kasi you never know if it will
After.
materialize.
Mhm.
Katulad ng nangyari sa akin, nawala na yung burden na ako, natalo pa ako.
Yun
So again, as I've said, the Lord sends us events so that we learn and we grow and we improve in our lives, di ba? So after nung 2000 by 2013, we ceased trading already sa stock market. I found myself na naging family services director ako o family
Family.
counselor. Yun yung vocation ko ngayon. I treat it as a vocation,
Uh-huh.
helping people because I'm a family services director with Arbor Memorial. I help families educate them about the necessity of pre-planning.
Oh, okay.
Having a good cemetery and funeral plans in place. Nakita ko na, again, in my experience, nalulungkot ako pag may nakita tayong kababayan na
Mhm.
hindi handa, ini-educate ko sila. Ngayon, yung iba, there's nothing I can do as long as I've done my job, di ba? So I give my ang tawag ko doon, free information without obligation. So I tell our kababayan, why not take advantage? Free naman yung information ko. You don't have to decide. Ang importante sa akin is to reach out to as many families so that you avoid the fate of, being caught unprepared. Mahirap kasi when you lose a loved one,
Yeah.
Ordinary Joe,
Mhm.
you're faced with three stresses, okay?
Mhm.
One is you're overwhelmed, Overwhelmed in the sense na confused ka. Number 2, emotional stress.
Mhm.
And then finally, financial stress. Kung di ka ready,
Mm.
financial stress.
Opo. Yeah, you're right. You're right about that. Actually, naging kliyente ko rin po ay ang Arbor Memorial, eh. I conducted a webinar for them one time. I think, dito sa Ontario, marami silang ano rito sa Ontario, marami
Yun ang
silang
head office namin sa Ontario.
dito po yung opisina niyo. So, marami po silang ano rito, eh. Actually, I'm impressed with Arbor Memorial kasi meron pala silang ano diyan, lot na for Filipino, ah, may parang Filipinized na ano, eh, may pangalan pa nga Pilipino nga yung pangalan nung area, eh.
I'm glad you
Parang
mentioned that. I'm glad you mentioned that, Ordinary Joe.
uh
When I joined Arbor Memorial, I noticed na hindi sina-celebrate sa Edmonton yung Undas o Todos
Hmm.
Los Santos, ano?
Uh-huh.
And as we know, Undas or Todos Los Santos is the second or the third major Christian Catholic event next to Christmas and Easter, Holy Week
Mhm,
Easter.
mhm,
Sabi ko,
mhm.
bakit hindi sila-celebrate yan? So, through my initiative, we were able to, I was able to organize the first Undas event in Edmonton. That
Hmm.
was in 2014. And then later on, they donated a spot na they put up a rock memorial in honor of the Philippine community.
Oh,
And
wow.
we call it now the Himlayang Filipino or Philippine
Himlayang Pilipino, yes.
Himlayang Filipino or Philippine Garden. So that yung area na yun, puro Pilipino. Yung mga
Yes.
pamilya na natulungan ko, and they're happy na meron tayong ganoon.
Parang
So,
may sarili tayo.
ginagawa natin yung Undas, very thankful yung mga kababayan natin kasi let's face it, normally nung nasa Philippines tayo, every November 1, we go to cemeteries. Actually, a week before, we clean the nichos, yung mga puntod, ano? And then,
Mhm.
November 1, punta tayo doon, we bring candles, light candles, bring flowers, and sometimes parang fiesta eh. Alam mo na, Pilipino, unique celebration. Uh, fiesta, minsan may mga pagkain.
Yes.
Di ba?
Doon
So,
doon kumakain.
dito na, sabi, marami na tanong sa akin, bakit wala tayong Todos Los Santos? So, that's one reason or purpose why I started that Undas event, and also why I initiated the Himlayang Filipino, so that Filipinos don't have to go home to the
Mhm.
Philippines to honor and pay respect to their departed loved ones.
Mhm.
I tell them, we have a focal point now, the Himlayang Filipino. You can come here and light a candle, bring flowers, offer prayers for your dearly departed. And that's what most families do now. They go to
Mhm, mhm.
the Himlayang Filipino, and then siyempre meron tayong uh, liturgical celebration, may mga readings. Tapos what I started is I give the attendees a piece of paper,
Mhm.
and they can write letters to their loved ones like,
Hmm.
"Hey ma'am, I miss you." Yeah.
Mhm, mhm.
Gano'n. Tapos ilalagay yun sa box, and then ibe-bury dun sa Himlayang Pilipino.
Hmm.
And then bago i-bury pala, ibe-bless ni Father. Meron tayong Filipino Catholic priest na kinukuha.
Mhm.
And also, there's a registration book. Lalagay mo doon kung sino yung mga gusto mong isama yung pangalan sa mass tsaka sa prayers. Na ano, yan.
Mhm. That is wonderful. Nung narinig ko yung Himlayang Pilipino, I was impressed. That was the first time I heard about it. Talagang, napansin ko nga, eh, since ano, natutunan ko na in 2014 is, according to the Canadian Encyclopedia, naging, determinasyon pala ng pamahalaan nung time na yon sa pamumuno ni, Stephen Harper na nagdesisyon ng pamahalaan na ang number one source of immigration sa Canada, kailangan nilang unahin na manggaling sa Philippines. Dahil nga ang partidong konserbatibo ay nakita na ang core values ng mga Pilipino ay hindi nalalayo sa mga core values ng mga Canadian. At, kaya
Saka masipag tayo, masipag.
sipag, sipag.
Hardworking,
Oo.
honest, ano? May mga exception, pero generally we are honest and hardworking. And
Mhm.
I'm proud of that.
So mula nung inyong pinsan na si Dr. Rey Pagtakhan ay naging MP at hindi lang MP, naging cabinet minister pa ng
Naging Minister of Veterans Affairs siya, naging Minister of Western Economic Diversification, naging Parliamentary Secretary to the Prime Minister din siya. He held various cabinet positions.
tama, naging
Actually,
cabinet.
during his time, that was the time when then President Gloria Macapagal Arroyo made an official state visit sa
Aha.
Canada. And the Prime Minister then was the Honorable Jean Chrétien.
Mhm.
And I was invited by Dr. Rey to join in welcoming President Arroyo and his party in Ottawa. So I was in Ottawa at that
You were
time.
in Ottawa.
Yes,
That would have been a very memorable time for you.
yes.
Mhm. And, after po ng naging yun nga, very historical, makasaysayan yung ang naging plight ni, Dr. Rey bilang makilala isang Pilipinong cabinet na ministro at, miyembro ng parlamento. Pagkatapos ni Dr. Rey wala na tayong nakitang sumunod na
Unfortunately, wala na. Pero
unfortunately.
speaking of Dr. Ray, everyone who come to know that I am the cousin tells me all good things about Dr. Ray. How he uh, uh, dedicated his life in service of the country, Canada, and how he was a zealous and sincere in helping our kababayans. Not only kababayans, but mainstream Canadians even talk to me and say, "Oh, you're Dr. Ray's cousin. He's a very honorable man. I mean, uh, man of integrity, honor, and integrity." Yeah.
Bakit
Kasi
sa
yun
tingin
kasi yun ang pinalaki sa atin ng mga magulang natin, di ba? I mean, daddy ko sabi, "Anak, alagaan mo yung honor natin. Yun lang may pagmamalaki natin."
hmm,
You know? And if ever you enter public service, you do it because you want to serve the public, not for anything else, sabi niya. No?
not your for personal gain.
Yes.
Bakit sa tingin niyo, Tito Hermo, na ang naging estado ng ating, mamamayang Filipino Canadians across Canada, hindi na nasundan si Dr. Rey at sa tingin niyo ano ang kailangang mangyari para magkaroon pa tayo ng marami pang Pilipinong, miyembro ng parlamento sa mga susunod na rehimen?
Ang obserbasyon ko, during Dr. Ray's time, meron tayong tinatawag na National Council of Filipino Associations in Canada. Actually, it started as, the name is UCFAC, United Council of Filipino Associations in Canada. Then they changed it to National Council of Filipino Associations. Magandang meron tayong ganun eh. Not only for visibility sa political spectrum, kasi let's face it, mas marami tayo kung tutusin sa mga Koreans o sa mga Vietnamese, pero look around. Bakit sila nakapag-elect na ng mga MLA, MP, di ba? Bakit tayo hindi? Kung tutusin, marami tayo.
Mas
Doon mo
marami tayo.
makikita rin in terms of community center. Sa Edmonton, ang mga Koreans hindi naman marami, pero ang dami nilang community center. Bakit tayo kami mga Pilipino din sa Edmonton, 80,000 na, wala pang, nagkaroon nga pero hindi na ipagpatuloy eh. Isang ano natin is, siguro iwasan natin yung crab mentality. Let's pay, masakit sabihin, pero we have to face the truth eh. The
Yeah.
only way you can solve a problem is by acknowledging the existence of a problem. Siguro hopefully sa mga younger generation, sa future generation, kung may imbibe natin yung mga positive Filipino traits and values na maiwasan na yung crab mentality. Kasi we should be happy whenever a kababayan is successful. We should, kasi the success of a Filipino anywhere and everywhere
All of our
is the
successes.
success of the Filipinos everywhere. Yun
Yes.
ang dapat na mindset natin, di ba? Hindi, minsan, tayo na rin lang kumuksa. Ewan ko na parang yung the movie Antonio Luna. There was a portion there, a scene na sinabi niya, you know what? Ang pinaka-mahigpit nating kalaban ay ang ating mga sarili. There's truth to that, sadly and unfortunately. So, yun ang iwasan natin.
Yung nabanggit niyo po kanina, yung Filipino Council something na
This is nationwide po ba yun? Yung sabi niyo, dati meron tayong gano'n. Ngayon
Yes,
ba wala na yun?
merong BC section, merong Alberta. Actually, bagong dating ako noon, remember I joined the political events here and I organized yung tinatawag na Filipino Canadian Political Action Group. Ano nun? Ang main idea nun is para magkaroon tayo ng united stand to support worthy candidates. So meron sa bawat riding o constituency, we find leaders o ikaw in charge diyan sa, let's say, sa north side ng Edmonton, ikaw in charge sa south side. And then we meet, we discuss collegial decision kung sino yung support, then we respect the decision. And I'm proud to say na we were able to elect leaders to Parliament and to the Legislative Assembly of Alberta because of that. And in fact, we were recognized in the newspaper, in the Edmonton Journal. In 1988, there was an article. Let me just replace that. There was an article in the Edmonton Journal, nakalagay, Ethnic Action Group, the new road to politics in Edmonton. It was written by Mark Lysak, November 29, 1988. Then there's another Edmonton Journal article, April 25, 1989, nakalagay dito, ang headline, Minorities Demand More Political Clout. And if I may be allowed to quote, it says here by Mark Lysak, Canada is fortunate to have people like Wilf Ladores, Frank Tobias, Hermo Pagtakhan, and Cornelio Ocol making their home here. These are people helping to build the country. Clearly, they are also people who want to take part in Canada's social and political life. So that's written in the opinion column of Mr. Mark Lysak. And from that, we springboard to networking with other minority groups. So that I was also part of the organizing committee. We call it the Federation for Advancement of Canadian Visible Minorities. It is an alliance of associations of the visible minorities. Meron tayong Japanese, Korean, Chinese, East Indian, Pakistani, and from Africa. So, maganda yung time na yun. Yun ang para sa akin, golden era ng Edmonton politics. And on the city level, I also organized kasi nga naging close tayo sa mayor noon at that time, natulungan natin. He appointed me to the mayor's advisory council, multicultural council. So we were able to effect some plans and programs for the benefit of the minority groups in Edmonton.
That is wonderful. That is wonderful. And yung sinasabi niyo kaninang Edmonton Journal, is that that's one of the main circulating newspaper in the
Yes.
city?
Along with the Edmonton Sun, yung Edmonton Journal and Edmonton Sun, I don't know, I think you call it Toronto Sun, right?
We have Toronto Sun, we have
And then the other major daily there is, what do you call it? National Post or?
we have National Post, Globe and Mail, we have the Toronto Star.
Yeah. So yung Edmonton Journal was acquired by National Post yata. Kaya yun ang dito, yeah. So that's an article way back when it was then Edmonton Journal.
That's wonderful. Like the city and even the mainstream publishers acknowledge yung importansya ng contribution ng Filipinos there in Edmonton, in
Yes.
Alberta.
Yes.
That's wonderful. Ang daming, I think, marami pa tayong pwedeng pagkakwentuhan. No?
Yeah, no.
Hindi pa natin mako-cover lahat in one sitting.
Yeah.
And that's the beautiful nature of what we call a long-form podcast na katulad ng ginagawa natin. It's about listening to many stories na minsan hindi natin naririnig tong mga to dahil lalo na ngayon, pandemya, we're locked down.
Yes.
At saka minsan yun ang nakakalungkot yung sinabi nyo, no? Yung itong certain council na dati it's existing ngayon. Wala na po ba yon yung council na yon na nakatulong
Wala. none that I am aware of. Yeah.
Mhm.
Pero Joe, Ordinary Joe, before
Mhm.
we go, can you send me a link so that kasi maraming nag-message sa akin. They want to watch our program but they
Uh-huh.
have work and they want to watch it
Oh,
maybe tonight or tomorrow weekend. So send me
opo,
a
yeah.
link which I can share to them.
Opo,
And
opo.
they
Actually,
can
this is going live again on Saturday, which is tomorrow.
okay.
We're gonna do an all day live of all the this week's episodes. Meron tayong 6 na episodes sa iba't ibang mga nakapanayam natin, iba't ibang community leaders all across Canada. And you're one of them po. Kahapon kausap natin si Tito uh, Rod
Yeah, yeah,
Cantiveros.
yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, which is also part of
Respected
the
leader in Winnipeg, yeah.
sa Winnipeg po. Siya rin ang nagsimula ng Manitoba Filipino Journal at pinsan niya si Kuya June na
Yes. Siya
the publisher of the
Yeah,
Edmonton
tinulungan niya
or
si Paring June na establish yung Alberta Filipino Journal,
Alberta
of
Filipino
which
Journal.
I'm blessed to be a
You're a
columnist.
columnist. Uh-huh. So it's like a one big family dyan sa Western Canada. Sana makita din namin yung ganyang klaseng camaraderie dito sa Ontario. Well, I think it's starting. And so I hope this is not the last time we are going to sit down and talk about many cuentos and many lessons that we are learning in our journey here as Filipino Canadians. At pagkakausap ko nga yung aking mga kaibigang non-Filipinos, mga Canadians or mixed culture, sabi ko, we the Filipinos are here as partners to help build Canada together kasi yun ang hindi naman tayo, we're not just tourists, we are citizens and we are builders of this country. So maraming salamat
Before
po.
before we go, Ordinaryo, allow me to mention just four things quickly.
Sige po, sige po.
One is I have a group who started like a talk show, talk show
Mhm.
pero with a purpose. We call it the Privilege Hour. The videos are of past episodes are available in YouTube. The
Yes.
Privilege Hour, Then meron din tayong Kwentuhan Lang Kabayan, parang medyo lighter version of the talk show Kwentuhan Lang.
Uh-huh.
Then we have also the serious one, which is Top Picks and more political because we had an episode commenting on the promises of the current Alberta government and whether they were fulfilled or not. Okay. Then finally, I just want to announce that I also started a tech startup, and we I'm proud to say we have a Filipino app developed by
Uh-huh.
Filipinos. It's called Notify, and we will also update you on that in the future segments of your show.
Well, let me invite you again hopefully next week, Tito. Let me invite you again kasi marami nga tayong dapat i-cover. Hindi natin ma-cover ng in one sitting. But if you
Yeah.
are free sometime next week, I know, I understand a lot of our fellow Filipinos, kayo dyan sa Alberta, hindi kayo shut down, hindi kayo lockdown like we are here in Ontario. Dito sa Ontario, lockdown kaya mga tao nasa
Lockdown,
bahay.
lockdown din ngayon, Ordinaryo. We on lockdown.
Lockdown din
Ah,
po.
ang expiration hopefully hindi na i-renew is January 21. So
Oh,
we just allowed to go to retail establishments, buy
uh
groceries. Pero walang dine-in, wala bawal yung social groupings, ano.
Pero
So
yung sabi niyo yung mga your loyal followers are at work, pumapasok po sila physically at work or they're working from home?
yung iba yung mga essential services like mga frontliners,
Yes, yeah.
to be there, right? Yung iba naman work from home. Yeah.
Work from home. Ano po ang mas marami sa mga Filipino Edmontonians, working from home or working in the front lines?
Kasi marami din tayong kababayan na mga nurses, saka essential services employees sa hospitals. So
Mhm.
halos ano rin pareho. Halos
Pareho
pareho.
lang po.
Yeah, parehas
Anyways,
lang.
Tito, let's may I invite you to give a closing statement to all our bukas i-rebroadcast natin live to. Mas marami tayo usually viewers na live on a Saturday and then tonight as well. But give a closing statement para sa ating mga Filipino Canadians across Canada, and I'd like to extend the invitation to you already for a part 2 of our kwentuhan para marami tayong matutunan at ma-cover ng mga kwento. But give some last words of advice or insights or thoughts to our listeners before we say goodbye.
Maybe the most relevant thing I want to discuss is what COVID-19 has taught us. Sabi ng iba, ganito, gano'n. Pero for me, the greatest lesson we learned from COVID-19 is that of our dependency on God. I mean, kaya mayaman ko, mahirap, apektado ka eh. Sinong tatakbuhan mo? Wala ka ibang tatakbuhan, kundi si Lord. Diba? So, ang ano ko lang is acknowledge that and put God first in our lives. Kasi when we put God first in our lives, we look at others and events and other persons through the eyes of God. And we learn to understand why they behave that way. Kasi if we use our limited human understanding, hindi natin magagrasp, di ba? We need the assistance of the Holy Spirit, and that's how we are able to look others through the eyes of God. Yun lang.
That is awesome.
And that everything happens for a reason. So,
Well, what a wonderful session we have, Tito Hermo, and you're always welcome here on the Ordinary Joe Show. And you can just call me Joey or Joe. In our
Thank you very much, Joey. I want to thank you very much for inviting me to your show. The honor and privilege and pleasure is mine. And I wish your viewers all the best, and God bless everyone.
Well, it's my pleasure po to have such a valuable speaker like you to share insights and stories and life lessons na inyong mga natutunan as trailblazers for many of us Filipino Canadians, yung mga nakababatang Filipino Canadians, at marami pang wave of migrants na papampasok sa ating bansa to help us all build Canada together. Yung inyong mga naging karanasan ng inyong early years ay nagsisilbing lesson for many of those who are following behind your footsteps. Again, thank you, and you're always welcome here, Tito Hermo.
Thank you very much, Joey. Siguro next time, ang gusto kong pag-usapan din natin yung Bakabayan Challenge ko.
Oh, yeah. I remember you mentioned that.
Next time. That's the next time for it.
Let's talk about that. So, ladies and gentlemen, there will be part 2. Tito, don't go away. I'll just want to say goodbye to the viewers, but stick around for one more minute.
Sure.
So, everybody, our guest today was Hermo Pagtakhan. The Pagtakhan family, the Pagtakhan clan, is very much known in Western Canada and also part of Canadian history. And maraming salamat po sa inyong pagsubaybay. And we are going to have Tito Hermo again very soon for part 2, part 3, part 4. Maraming kwento from Western Canada na dapat nating marinig at to get lessons from. So an open invitation to Hermo, and an open invitation to all of you, our listeners, to please come back, stay tuned, and we love you all. God bless you. Tito, don't go away.
Yes,
we'll see you again next time.
You're the original Ordinary Joe, but I'm an Ordinary Joe too.
My name is John Tory. I'm the Mayor of Toronto, and you are watching the Ordinary Joe Show. And this is Ordinary Joe right here. He's right here.
Ako po ang iyong tagapag-ulat, Joey Salvador, at ito ang Filipino Canadian Daily on OJTV.